Shalom Lacham, shalom everybody. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you just joined, please subscribe, like, share, comment. Your subscription and your comment will allow me to grow on the YouTube. And subscriptions are really free. Nobody pays for them. So you just smash that button and it's just like a second. Take that second to press the subscription button. And thank you very much again. So today's videos, I'm gonna do a reaction. It's not going to be a negative reaction, but it's a reaction about a lady, Khoisan lady, princess. She says she's a princess, Khoisan princess. She goes by the name Valerie van Wyk. She says she's from the descendant, or she's a descendant of King Mosheshi, apparently from who ruled Ethiopia, back in times. So she's one of a descendant, and yeah, and they call themselves the First Nation. They really never explain why the First Nation. Why do they call them first? They call themselves the First Nation. Is it because they how do you say it? Is it because they believe they are the first on earth, or it's because I don't know? I think that's what they believe. So they come from the one that, everybody comes from Adam, who was the first on earth. So, but because I think there is a bit of different belief in South Africa because of certain fossil or fossil, we call them fossil in French, fossil that were discovered, mankind, and they went into this carbon dating. I don't believe in that nonsense stuff. So again, but I believe that the world is 7,252 years old. I believe that. 7,252 years old since creation of mankind until today. I don't go with billions of years, and because but again, so let's first listen to her, Valerie van Wyk of the Khoisan, and from after that we can then I can give my point.
Yeah.
Okay, good morning, community. James Colored reporting. Today I have Valerie van Wyk, who's from one of the Khoisan movements. She's going to give us her side of the story and educate us about what this Khoisan movement is all about. So good morning, Valerie.
Morning.
And welcome to the G4J show this morning.
Oh, thank you.
Valerie, I just want to start off by saying thank you for inviting me to interview you. And I'm sure the community at large would like to actually have clarification on what this Khoi movement is. And I must say, forgive my ignorance, because myself, I also fall into that category. I'm ignorant to the fact of what the Khoi movement is about. And I believe there's not just one house. Maybe you can educate the community on how or this Khoi movement came about, and how do colored people become affiliated by DNA, or how does it work? Please explain to us. So, just to bring, so the coloreds can start making an informed decision as to whether they want to join this movement. Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you very much. I'm so glad that we're doing this interview, because our colored people have been miseducated. The history has been manipulated. We've been so indoctrinated. And the perception of the colored means that we are from black and white or a mixed race. It's either some race that you are mixed with. I am a researcher for 20 odd years. I don't even know when I even started, but anyways. For 20 years, I have studied this Khoisan, supposed to be Khoisan, which I don't agree with. They gave us the colored word, the derogatory, which you don't even know what it actually means. We love the colored word. I love the colored word because of the people that we are. and the unity that we have and the people that we are. So when I saw this, what the colored word really means, derogatory connotations to it, I started realizing so much more to it. And also because of my research going to other avenues, so I had to put everything together, like it's like a puzzle that I had to put together, and it all really makes sense why they want us to have this colored derogatory word. Okay. This connotation that they make us believe that we are mixed race is to take us away from our inheritance, from being the First Nation, and also for us to claim back what is rightfully ours. That is one of the reasons why they are making sure that we as colored, they make us believe that the San people are the only ones and they're the First Nation. I also found out through the research that we are the First Nation. We were here long before anybody that came over here. All these people, they say colonized. We were never colonized because we were not conquered, and we are not dependent people. We were independent. Okay? That's also another lie they make us believe. They make us believe that we don't have a language. We do have a language, and English and Afrikaans, which is actually they have separated the English and Afrikaans because that is actually, they call, is the Hebrew language. Hebrew means the oldest language. And I found out through my research that English was actually not the same English that we do speak today. They stole our history. They stole everything about us, and they gave it to some kind of it's England that will have some history of ours. Israel will have our history. Ethiopia will have our history. Madagascar will have our history. Saint Helena will have our history. They done that to take away everything that we are supposed to know.
You heard the Khoisan. Listen, guys, I'm not here to debunk the Khoisan. It's not a negative reaction. It's critical, it's correction. It's just that when someone says something on a platform today, nowadays, you gotta remember it's on video, it's on audio, so people will hear it and they will hear you only, nothing else. No one mistranslated. If you made a mistake, it's you, nobody else. So when when you go into historical facts of certain things, you have to exactly come with receipts, right? So receipts allows anyone else to look at, say, no, that's, oh, this person is might be on something good, or on the right path. Not really come with receipt and pretend to say there is, I found out after 20 odd years, maybe 25 years, maybe 28 years, maybe 27 years, or 23 years of research. She doesn't know what's the meaning of Hebrew word. She doesn't know where Hebrew language comes from. So meaning she believes that the Khoisan language is the original language of creation of mankind. Maybe because if you, I don't know. It's because, guys, she doesn't really explain properly. She just talk, moved on. The person who's asking question, let her move on without bringing her back. She said, oh no, explain this point. Now, I'm going to go a bit faster. Hope I will be done in the next 5-10 minutes. Hebrew does not come from English or Afrikaans. The meaning of Hebrew does not mean old language. That doesn't make sense. First of all, let's go where Hebrew comes from. The word Hebrew, right? So we have Hebrew comes from Chabar. Now, I don't know. I think I've just gone too fast. Hebrew is a misnomer, right? By the Greek. So it's not Hebrew. The real word is not Hebrew. Hebrew comes from Hebraios. Hebraios is a misnomer from the Greek, who could not say Habare because their language did not have a guttural pharyngeal fricative that really, just comes from ya to say Habare. They couldn't say that. And there was no letter in Greek that brings out that guttural sound. So because they didn't have that, they went with what they had in their language. And Hebraios was what those who translated the scriptures found that was good for them. And we stuck with it until today with Hebrew in English or Hebrew in French. It comes from Heber or Iber or Eber. In French, say Eber. Heber, So now let's go back. When God created Adam and Eve, or Ho, not Eve, Ho, and the real name in the language is Ho. Now the language did not have a name because it was one language, one people. They spoke the language until the flood. After the flood, Noach and his son spoke the same language. They had offspring. Those offspring spoke that language. And then we come to the Tower of Babel, where where these people went into idolatry, and Yahweh or Elohim, the high power, was not pleased with that. So he said to the angel, let's go and confuse mankind so that they don't understand each other no more. They should not be understanding each other no more. Now, you got to understand, the purpose of inflicting more languages was for confusion purposes. That's why we say these languages are language of confusion. They're not original language. It's not a pure language, because the pure language was kept aside. Now, among those who were doing all these things, there was a name from the line of Sham. His name is Chabar, or Heber in English. Chabar did not do idolatry, so his family, his house was set apart. So when the rock of Yahweh, the power of Yahweh, inflicted this diffusion of language, Chabar kept the original language because he was not participant to idolatry. He kept the original language. So his house spoke that language. So at that moment, from that moment of many languages, whoever spoke something, what they say or the language they spoke was defined, was given a name of the person who's the leader of the house. God, remember, it's not like today where there's congestion of people. We live tight to each other. Back then, it was not tight. It was separated. 20 kilometers, 50 kilometers, 100 kilometers away from each other. They have their territory, they run, they did their cattle farming and everything they did. Mostly was agricultural life, right? Farming. So you have your cattle, you have farms, you produce your food, you ate that, you had your cattle, maybe you sold, whatever you did, it's you. But then, so this is a bit of how, even today in the villages, that's how life is. You see a house there, or someone who starts, who lived somewhere and someone joins him, that person, the name won't be given, the name of that place will not be named after the person, the people who just came after. It will be named after the person who started that. Now, remember, by Adam, there was no name. The language didn't have name because all spoke the same language. So they really never named it. But then after there's many languages now, So everyone's language had a name now. You will see Canaanite. Canaanite come from Canaan. Hainain. In Habare, we say Hainain, Hanane. So that's why the Canaanites spoke. Ashur or Assyrian is what it's. Ashur is someone, but then the language he spoke called Assyrian. That's a bit of how names got named. That's how language got named. Now Habar spoke. What he spoke got named Habare, and those who spoke that language got called Habaraim or Habaraim. If it's many people, Habaraim. If it's one, it's Habare, right? Then Habar had kids, and until we come to Abram, in his lineage we have Abram. Abram in Genesis 14, that's where we see first where they said Abram the Hebrew when Lot was captured, and Abram's Lot's servant who escaped the capture came to Abram and told him, announced to him, Abram the Hebrew, that your nephew has been captured. So then Abram mobilized his army to go free his nephew. Okay, so Chabar, now here's the thing. Chabar means pass on or push on, push over or pass on. That's the meaning of Chabar. So when someone says Hebrew means the old language, Hebrew does not mean the old language. Hebrew means it's a misnomer. The Greek could not say Chabar, Ray. They say Hebraios, and everyone went with that. But the real word is Chabar. And Chabareim is the Hebrews, or Chabarei is Hebrew. And the language is Chabarei or Chabareth. Then from that, you have all the names. So the Greek messed up there. They messed up names. In the scriptures, if you go into scriptures, you will see that's not the only name that got messed up. Because in Jewish Masoretic, Chabar or Hebrew is Hivri, right? That's a signature Canaanite. When you hear E in the Hebrew, the signature is Canaanite. They did not change the Canaanite language. You gotta remember, most of the convert kept the accent certain of their language. They changed the language, right? Remember that the Hebrew that's spoken today in Israel, it's called Tiberian Hebrew or Masoretic Hebrew. Google that. 9th century Common Era. That was born. So after the Messiah, after the prophet, none of the prophets spoke Tiberian Hebrew or the Masoretic Hebrew. Masoretics, Masoro, the Masoro, they described, they met in Tiberia, and they made up this language with Nikud so they could be able to read, because the ancient language did not have dots over the letters to express the vowels. The vowels, the Paleo-Hebrew has 5 pure vowels. Pure in why? Because those vowels are first consonant. They are all consonants. 22 letters, they're consonants. But among those 22 letters, there's 5 letters that can become vowels depending on the position they have on the word, in the word. So when they are the first letter of a word, they are consonant. But if they are the second letter of from the middle of the word or at the end of the word, they have a vowel value. They become vowel. So you will have is 5 of them. That's a. The first one is a. A is Aleph in Masoretic Hebrew. It's Canaanite because Aleph is an ox, and the Canaanite worshipped an ox, so they gave that letter Aleph. But in Chabarei, it's a flagpole, a grouping place, where you meet. So then the second letter, it's not the letter, the vowel. I'm going with the vowel. The vowel is ha. Ha is a he in Tiberian Hebrew. Ha is a silent vowel. If it's at the first letter, it's a consonant. But if it's in the middle or at the end, it's silent. So you don't pronounce it. That's why it's not Abraham, but it's Abraham, because the ha in Abram just changed the meaning of the name, but does not change how you pronounce Abram. So his name is still Abram. Then you have, unless it's a feminine word, at the end of a feminine word, you can inflict, do you call it? You can either you do an inflection where you can pronounce that word so that it proves that it's a feminine word, it's a feminine subject, like in ho if it's not ho. Then, or like in Moses' name, that it's not the ha that is being pronounced, because you say Masha, not Moshe, Masha. The sha at the end, it's because it's a masculine word, so the sha is not from the ha, but it's from the letter. The second letter is a sha. It's 3 letters. Moses' name is 3 letters, Masha ha. So it's not Masha ha, it's Masha. Then you have ha or wa. Let's say wa. Wa. So wa. Wa is a letter, it's a vav in Masoretic Hebrew, but in Chabarei, it's wa. When it's the first letter, it's a consonant, but when it's in the middle or at the end of a word, it now takes a sound of a long O vowel. So instead of being a wa, it's O. So you will hear shalom. The word shalom has that wa before the last letter. That's why you don't say shalom, it's shalom, not shalom. Shalom. Then you have the other letter is a ya. Ya has, if it's the first letter, it's yod in Tiberian Hebrew. If it's the first letter, it's ya. But when it's in the middle or at the end of a word, it's become a long I sound. So you will have shamaim. But when it's the first letter, we'll say yamaim. Yamaim. It's the same banay, bana, ya. It's 3 words, 3 letter. Bana, ya, banaim, children, or my child. So then the last one is aha. Ha. No, ya is a long A sound, sorry. Long A sound, ya. But then the ha is a long I sound. That's a bit of my mistake there. So ya is a long A sound. That's why I say by name. But ha is a long I sound. So when you have, if it's the first letter, you will have a ha. In the word chabar or chabare, it's a ha. Ha is an iron in Tiberian Hebrew. But in chabare, it's ha. And ha is guttural. So you will have chaba, chabar, chabare, ham, chamim. Chamim is my people. Ham is people or nation. My nation. Chamim, chancha, chamcha, your nation. Chamcha, your people. So that's a bit of how it goes. Then when it's in the middle or at the end of a word, it's not, it takes a long I sound where you then it's become like in Shammai. Shammai is Sha, Ma, and Ha at the end. 3 letters. To hear. The verb to hear is Shammai. Shammai Ya'o Shar'al, Ya'o ala Eno, Ya'o Akad, Wa Abtha, Ath, Ya'o ala Echa, Bachal Lababcha, Wa Bachal Napashcha, Wa Bachal Ma'adcha, Wa Heo Hadabaremcha Allah, Asha Anachema Tzoha Ayom, Chal Lababcha, Wa Shanantham Labanecha, Wa Dabatha Bam, Bashabatcha, Babeitcha, Wa Balchatcha, Badarch, Wabashchabcha, Wabakomcha, Wakashatham Laoth, Hal Yadcha, Waheo Latadapath, Bain Cheinecha, Wachatabatham Hal Mazazoth, Beitcha, Wabashai Recha, Aman wa Aman. Shalom. So if this video has inspired you, if this video has teach you something about Hebrew, like, share, comment, and subscribe. And again, if there is anything that you would like to know that you want to know more, please also write a comment. Again, thank you for watching. This was just to clarify the word Hebrew. It doesn't mean all the language. Hebrew means push over, okay, pass on. That's why chabar. It comes from chabar is the sharash. The root is chabar. Chabara, chabar. And from chabar we have chabare, chabareim. That's how the chabare or Hebrew, the paleo, because when you say Hebrew, it's get messed up. Chabare has mostly composed of triconsonantal letters. So the sharash are mostly 3 letters, right? You have also like 2, but mostly it's 3 letters. So you have them with, I will say like chabar, shamai, pakad to visit, shalak to send, ama to speak, dabar, ama to say, dabar to speak. There's so many words. I mean, there's so many verbs. It's just this, I don't know which one to pick. So there's a bit of how you do about it. So I mean, ba is to create. So if I say ba, hopa, hoa bara, she created. Ho ba, he created. Hoa bara, she created. So if I say ama, ho ama, he spoke, he said. Atha, amatha, you masculine said. Ath, amaath, you feminine said. We have this difference between masculine and feminine in Chabarei Torah conjugation. And the common one is the first person masculine, first person singular, or first person plural, right? So the first person will be Amathe, Ane, or Anachne, Amathe. I spoke, or I speak. And the plural or the future will be Ane, Ama, I will speak. You just need to, you have to understand, we don't, doubling the R there, because the R usually is free, but this word is now starting with the R, so it won't be doubled. You know, that's a bit of how you understand the language. And this is Chabareth, the pure language. Yahweh did promise that I will restore the pure language so that all can call upon the name Yahweh with one common accord. Today we don't call the same God. We do not call the other says Jesus. The other say Yahweh. The other say Jehovah. The other people say Yahweh, Yahweh. Confusion. Confusion. And the Europeans have known this, but they can't say a word about it because these people do not want, if they have to be corrected, all their PhD will be destroyed. These people have no education at all. They don't have no shame. They pretended. They have these, you know, researchers, people that say, oh, I 40 years in research. All they is just to make money, line up with the common code. Nothing. This language, the name of the Almighty, is being restored. The language is being restored. We are now speaking the language. We are now reading the language. You just heard me recite the Shammai prayer. Listen, Israel, Yah Oshra'al, not Israel, Yah Oshra'al. Yahweh your God, your high power Yahweh is one. You will love Yahweh. Wa'abtha. Yahweh ala echa. You love Yahweh, your high power, with all your might. You know, so that is what it is. Shalom again. Thank you for watching. Subscribe, like, share, comment.